Hi Leo, and welcome to your July 2024 horoscope. July has a lot going on, and not in the sense that there are a lot of big intense things happening, but more in the sense that there are just a lot of different aspects. I think we have a lot of sextiles and trines, especially with Neptune and Saturn and Uranus. Because of time constraints, I'm not going to go through all of these aspects in this horoscope. I have picked the most important ones, the most intense ones, the most prevalent ones to highlight. So we're going to focus only on those. However, if throughout the month you do have a day where you're feeling some type of way, even though I didn't mention that day in this horoscope, please do honor that. Please take the time to ground yourself, to reflect on what's happening, and to perhaps glean what the lessons that planet is trying to teach you. On July 2nd, we have Neptune going retrograde in your 8th house. Neptune has been in your 8th house since 2011, and it will be retrograde until December, after which it will start going direct again. So since 2011, Leo, Neptune has been asking you to reconsider the dreams you have about vulnerability, about sharing, about being dependent and open with others, relying on others. Now that it's retrograde, it's a good time to reflect on what's been coming up around that theme, how you've been acting, the actions you've been taking. And when Neptune goes direct in December, then you can take some actions based on these reflections. On July 6th, there's a new moon in Cancer in your 12th house. Leo, this means that there might be a new beginning when it comes to spirituality and compassion for you. There might be some event that's happening around this time that is really making you connect to the humanity of us all and making it easier for you to have compassion towards others and also towards yourself. On July 10th, we have two interesting aspects taking place. This is the trine between the Sun and Saturn and the trine between Venus and Neptune. So both the Sun and Venus are in your 12th house, and Neptune and Saturn are in your 8th house. The way I see this manifesting for Leo is that the compassion and the ability for you to get in touch with the humanity in us all, just a couple of days ago with the new moon, is also making it much easier for you to be vulnerable and open with others. Because you realize that no matter what people have achieved, no matter what clothes they wear or where they live, that they also are human. They also were children with their own struggles. And as a result, you're able to connect with them on a much deeper level. You're able to open up parts of you that perhaps before you were scared to open up, and just share that with them because there's this feeling of maybe more safety and understanding between the two of you. On July 11th, Venus enters Leo, or your first house, and as it does that, it opposes Pluto, who is in your 7th house. This might feel especially intense for you, Leo. This is happening in your angular houses, and Pluto is going to continue to get hit or activated throughout the month of July. We're going to have a full moon that's going to activate Pluto, and we're also going to have the Sun enter Leo and oppose Pluto a bit later in the month. Because this is an opposition between Venus and Pluto, you might feel a bit torn. You might feel torn between withdrawing, only trusting yourself, relying on yourself, versus opening up and trusting others, and the power and beauty that can come from connecting with others and being in a relationship, using the support from each other to get even further in life. And this might be especially a theme that keeps coming up throughout this month. On July 14th, we have one of the other big events of the month, which is the conjunction between Mars and Uranus in your 10th house. So this might be a day where you're a bit explosive when it comes to your career. You might be a bit explosive at your workspace. Perhaps there's boundaries that are being crossed that you feel like you need to be courageous and you need to stand up for yourself. But it could be also that you have a very unique standpoint that you need to express because it's something that others are not considering or they haven't thought about. On July 20th, Mars enters Gemini or your 11th house. Mars in Gemini might give a bit of a scattered energy, especially because this is happening in your 11th house, Leo. You might feel very scattered with 10,000 different goals that you want to achieve at the same time. So do keep in mind that Mars might especially amplify this and might make you feel like you're stretched too thin in too many directions. One thing that could help is just picking a couple, pick maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of these goals and just focus on those for the time being. A day later, on July 21st, we have a full moon in Capricorn with a wonderful Plutonian influence. So even though the moon is at 29 degrees of Capricorn, Pluto is not too far away. Pluto is maybe like 1 or 2 degrees away over into Aquarius. Also, Mars is trining Pluto during this full moon as well, so further activating Pluto. And full moons represent a sort of revelation or something being brought to light, us understanding and being aware of something that we couldn't see before. And I think this has to do something with the last 20 years and something with the Pluto and Capricorn transit. And the reason I say this is because, first of all, the full moon is happening at 29 degrees of Capricorn. And second of all, Pluto is slowly making its way back towards Capricorn. And later in the year, it will in fact reach that 29th degree of Capricorn again. I don't think that this new piece of information or this awareness is going to be something necessarily negative or difficult. This is because we have both Venus, Jupiter, and Neptune involved in this full moon. Because of those 3 planets, I do feel like the awareness or the piece of information will feel like the missing puzzle piece that finally makes the last 20 years make sense. That makes you aware of, okay, that's why things had to happen that way. It's because so that I could become the person I am today, so that I can continue to grow and evolve. And for you specifically, Leo, Pluto was in your 6th house for the last 20 years. So for you, this might especially be a piece of information or awareness in regards to your service, in regards to you using a skill to help others. And it might also be surrounding mentors, you seeking out mentors that can guide you and teach you in this lifetime. And it could also be something to do with your health and with your routine. I do want to point out that the Sun opposing Pluto doesn't become exact until the day after, on the 22nd. Because of this, I do feel like the effect of the full moon might be a little bit more outdrawn. It might last a little bit longer, or maybe the crescendo doesn't just happen on the 21st, could also be the 22nd. But overall, do reflect on what happened earlier in the month when Venus opposed Pluto, because it might be the same themes coming up when the Sun opposes Pluto as well. And the last transit I wanted to chat about in this horoscope, Leo, is a sextile between Mars and the Sun. So the Sun is in your 1st house and Mars in your 11th. I do think this is a really nice way to close off the month. You might feel like all of the efforts you've been putting working on your goals, all of the actions you've been taking, all of the checklists that you've been taking off are giving you a sort of confidence, a sort of feeling of powerfulness, a feeling of being able to really stand tall and proud, and a feeling of not being afraid to be seen, to stand out and to get attention from others. Leo, I hope you are looking forward to July. There are some things happening in regards to your internal world, compassion, spirituality, being vulnerable and open with others, but also some more outward themes like the goals that you're working towards, and some exciting things perhaps happening in your career as well. Thank you so much for joining me, Leo. And before you go, I wanted to remind you that I am doing a giveaway. When we reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel, I will give one of you a free reading. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Thanks again, Leo, and I hope to see you again soon.